Were you able to enjoy everything about Saturday after the game, or did picking up more injuries put a bit of a dampener on it?
You'd always enjoy winning, but you know it's like a quick hit. You know, you can't dwell too much on whether you're being successful or unsuccessful. You've got to concentrate on the next game, and immediately your attention focuses to that. Probably at 5:30, probably about 4:30 when you're seeing players go off injured. You know, then you're even sort of focusing on, you're getting muddled in the game because you know that you're going to have to do something the next game, and you're trying to sort of not plan, but you're trying to see how you're going to get through the next game without the players that you're losing. And with illness and sickness, we've got 19 players out. I don't think any team's ever suffered that, ever, as far as I've been aware of football. And it's going to be really tough for us.
Just repeat that again. 19?
19 players are out with sickness and illness, yeah. And injury, sorry.
And so you've got to name 9 substitutes?
I've got to name 9 subs, yeah.
Where do you find them from?
Don't know. Obviously we've got a good youth team who've done well. Big ask for them to compete in them, but whatever we have to put out, we'll put out, and we'll give it our best shot.
Have you got news from Saturday's injuries, John?
Seamus has gone for a scan today. That doesn't look too good. Rosé, touch and go for tomorrow. Probably more golden touch. Aaron, luckily it's not broke, but it's badly bruised his foot. Pig's trotter, me great nan would have said. Or me nin, should I say. But we've got players who'll give their all and go through a brick wall for you, so you know we'll see what we can patch out tomorrow and do our best.
So just in preparations the day before a game, how many can you have out on a training field today? Are you pulling so much of the youth players out of what they would have been doing normally?
Well, they're supposed to be playing tomorrow as well, so that might have to fall by the wayside, but we'll do our best. You know, we'll try and prepare like we always try and prepare for the game. You know, Boreham Wood have had a week off, so that can sometimes be counterproductive. You know, we've been in them situations before. So it's just one of them things. Once the game starts, it's all hustle bustle, and you get on whoever's playing.
I know you're sick to the back teeth of talking about players unavailable to you this season, John. Does it seem light years ago since you could not go a game, 14 games was it, without making a substitution in League Two?
Yeah, that's a distant memory. We managed to do it last week, funny enough, in the Papa John's. But that does seem a distant memory. And it's just, you know, people don't go out to get injured. And people are playing through injuries and sickness as well. So you've got to take your hat off to our lads for how big a heart they've got, and how they'll do their utmost that's in their capabilities to try and get a result for the club. You wouldn't find a closer set of lads than them, and they all bounce off each other. And hopefully, you know, our grit and determination will see us through.
Just how important is discipline on the field as well right now, that you can't afford to lose anyone to suspension, can you?
Yeah, and you know, that was a valid point on Saturday. You know, we had Coley booked early on, and then some of the endless challenges were flying in from the opposition, and you've got to keep your cool not to retaliate. And I think, you know, the lads kept done it well.
Just touching on Saturday, I just mentioned to you before we started recording this chat that you mentioned after the game the handball rule, and I'm thinking probably a lot of people, including me, probably weren't quite aware of exactly that ruling, that if it strikes the hand unintentionally of a player but not the goal scorer, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, it does. We don't make the rules, and The referees don't make the rules either. So the only debate was, did it hit Harvey straight on the hand, or did it come off another part of his body to go onto his hand? Well, it clearly did. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't be aggrieved if it happened to me if I was the other way around. Yeah, we'd be up in arms. But the cold light of day, which we're all in the cold light of day now, when you look at it again, there's no case to answer. You know, he's interpreted it brilliantly. And he's got to take credit for that, the referee. And, you know, people are quick to admonish referees. But he's got a split second to make that call. And luckily, he knew the rules. And he knew that if Harvey had put it in, it'd have been disallowed. But somebody else has put it in. Now, he hasn't made that rule, he's applied it. And fair play to him, he's done well.
In terms of winning this FA Cup replay, John, just sum up the importance of it for Accrington
It's
Stanley.
massive for the club. You know, the financial aspect, the chance to bring, you know, either Cardiff or Leeds here. You know, people have been saying to me for the last week, what do you think of the draw? And I said, well, what draw? We've got Boreham Wood in the draw. And that's as far as it begins and ends with me. You know, that Boreham Wood is who we drew in the cup. And they're the ones who we'll try and have to play against.
Yeah. How much of a difference could it make between now and the end of the window to win this game?
Well, it could get you another 2 players. And with the amount of bodies that are falling for us at the moment, we can need them.
In an ideal world, how many do you need, would you say, between now and the end of the month?
I think we still need 3. I do. But getting 3 established players at this stage of the season is very difficult. And I'm not the only manager who's looking like that.
Is it harder and harder each year to get players
Every
out?
window gets progressively harder, yeah. Because there's more people fishing in the same pool. There's teams with big recruitment departments, maybe 4 or 5, 6 strong, who can cast a net wide and get out to watch games. You know, myself and Jimmy were at the 21's game yesterday, Blackburn and Everton, and you know, there's plenty of scouts there looking for the same players that you're looking at, and possibly they can offer them more money.
How difficult is it as well if you do manage to get them in, or you get to the negotiation stage and the parent club wants them to play, and if you end up getting them and they're not quite the player you thought they were, that's going to be difficult, isn't it?
Well, it is. That's where we've got to make a call and try and get it right. We've got 1 or 2 irons in the fire that we hope's going to drop today. We should be in a stronger position come Saturday.
We just got to trust the judgment that you and Jimmy have always had.
Well, we get plenty long. You know, there's no magic formula. Thankfully for us, over the years we've got a lot right as well. And the ones that are right can sometimes outweigh the ones that are wrong. It's a bit like playing the stock market, really, isn't it? You know, if you buy shares in 10 companies and 4 absolutely bomb, but 6 go through the roof, you're going to make a profit. We've been making a profit over the years, haven't we?
What's the key to it, John? Is it do you look at loads of stats, or does your eye tell you a player?
There's a lot of things that go into it. You know, you like to see the hunger in the player first. You like to speak to them as well. Stats, they can lie, but stats can help you. You know, we signed Cameron Burgess, not on the basis of it, but he got flagged up to us through his aerial heading stats, or his heading stats, not aerial heading stats, his heading stats. That's what flagged him up to us, and then that's when we did our due diligence on him, and that's where we signed him. So it can point you in the right direction, but if you're using it to inform you, you can be way off the mark.
What did you make of the last game with Boreham Wood?
Tough game. You know, it was exactly the way I thought the game would be played. Ball wasn't in play a lot. Physical. The conditions didn't really help because it was windy and driving rain. And you know, we acquitted ourselves really well defensively for a long period. Just went to sleep for 1 free kick, and it cost us. And give them the credit; they never kept pushing us back and putting balls into our box with the wind. And we expect them pretty much the same tomorrow.
Do you view it as a bit of an opportunity missed, that it's taking 2 matches?
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, you know, because we'd been comfortable for a long period. And then to concede the goal the way we did, with players switching off. 2 or 3 players switch on. Only one of them has to switch on, and they don't score. So that's the disappointing thing. But football's littered with that, you know, and that's how you score goals. mainly because it's had a very good play, which was good play by them. It was a good ball, and it was a great header, by the way. But it's either very, very good play or people switching off, and that was a combination of both, I think.
Just a final one, Tommy Lee, just spoken to today, back on the goals at the weekend, John. For someone who's not a natural centre forward, just how difficult is it, and you've played as a centre forward, how difficult is it for someone to be a centre forward who naturally perhaps isn't?
It's tough because you're a battering ram for most part of the game. You play a lot of the game with your back to goal. So you're looking at the play a lot more than trying to run onto the play or the ball coming onto you. And you have certain things that just come naturally. You make runs that to lose your men. You find yourselves in positions that you haven't thought about. You've just done it on autopilot. And that only comes with playing centre forward for a long period. Tommy's doing a sterling job in an unnatural position, and when we get him back to his old position, I think he can be a handful.